Okay, we're here at Enlightened Baby in Austin, Texas with owner Whitney. They have a lot of beautiful baby things here, all kinds of things, but we're here to talk about baby carriers. Baby wearing is something you might want to try because it helps you be hands-free when you need to. Babies sometimes want to be on us all the time, want to be held all the time, and we have to hold those newborns with two hands, so it's really hard to get anything done. So once you're past that, staying in bedtime, to be able to have the baby on you and have your hands free so you can get a few things done is great. Also, having the babies on us for that good skin to skin contact and closeness is good for bonding. It's good for getting a great start with breastfeeding. So lots of good reasons to wear your babies, but then you might go into a store. Luckily, this is a lovely store that has narrowed down your options for you really nicely. But sometimes you go into a store and there's a million things to choose from and you don't know how. So we're going to look at just a few that Whitney has narrowed down for us. I can't see you yet. That she has narrowed down for us. And she's going to show us how to wear them, how to put them on me so that I can hold on to my baby with no hands.
Yeah. All right. So the first one to have a look at is called a ring sling. It's essentially a sling with the ring here. And this one happens to have a padded shoulder, which can make it a little bit easier to put on. So since you're right-handed, it makes a little more sense to put it on your right shoulder, though you can do both. So if you'll put this arm through the sling, it's going to go up over your head here. There we go. Okay. We do want to always have that shoulder back here. We're going to start with the ring a little further back. If we have it down, we want it to land in corsage position. If we start there, it tends to go a little bit too low. So get this just to fan this out pretty good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put baby up on shoulder, basically like this. Okay, so we have them on a high shoulder and we're leaning back on our back hip here so that they're really kind of in a shelf, right? She can have legs out. She is a weighted doll, right, that weighs 8 pounds, but actually to simulate newborn, we're going to do this and put her here. That makes sense. So that we have that tiny newborn, you'd be pushing up on the bottom of their legs to froggy in. We're going to completely cover her in the wrap and then move her down to position. Okay.
So because she's a newborn, her legs stay tucked up.
That's right. And it's going to be froggy legs, so knees to elbows. Okay, that makes sense. But of course, she's plastic, doesn't bend. So that's why she's going to be our sample, just in this way to simulate that small side. So up on shoulder, here we go, and lean back as if you were really holding a true baby. So we're going to pull this from under the armpit all the way over baby's shoulders to here. I typically hold it with my chin against baby. There we go.
So it's under my armpit.
All the way. So we're just pulling this nice and taut. With this hand, you're going to kind of tuck this under her front side, keeping her where she's at, protecting behind the neck. And you're going to slowly bring her down into center. Keep protecting neck. There we go. Very good. And so with there, just you did exactly. So you did it like intuitively. You knew I want to protect behind my baby and hold here. So with this hand, you're going to pull. And what's great about the ones that are striped like this, you can tell this piece is going to tighten this top lighter piece. Okay. The dark piece here will tighten the bottom. So we pull one at a time, pulling from about this point towards baby and towards me. So start here and pull this way. Very good. Keep going, keep going. There we go. And once we start to see it do this irritating thing, switch and pull over here. Straight down. There you go. And then swap. Pull towards baby again. And if you lift on their weight, that'll help you pull a little bit more. Very good. Another trick with this.
Oh, that feels nice.
Right?
That's kind of tight.
I love to take this and twist it, and we will tuck this under baby's head to give them a little bit more neck support so that if you're leaning forward, you're needing to lean into the sink or scoop up that pacifier that fell, you have protection there.
Okay, so you tucked the tail.
That's right. But just so it gives it a place to go. And you could do it all the way under the armpit if you need, like all the way around if you need to.
That's great.
Right? This one's especially great because it does have a pocket in the tail. But another feature that this type of carrier is great for is nursing in. Can I show you how that looks? Yes.
I was just thinking that the nipples almost.
That's right. We're nearly there. So if we pull this to the side and we would just protect behind baby's neck, there we go. And so if we lift this ring straight from the center piece here upward, it would loosen the whole thing. What we're going to do is lift to the side and just kind of be prepared to catch baby in the crook of your arm. There we go. That way they kind of lean into the side. Yep. Perfect.
Position in here.
That's right. So that it's easy to get them right where we need. And then we have built-in coverage if you're like standing in the grocery store trying to get through checkout.
Wow. Yeah. So baby, you can see is right here at nipple level. I could be feeding my baby right now.
Yep. Now,
would
full
I
disclosure,
tighten it
it's
at
a
all?
little easier on the side without the ring. So.
Okay. And can I pull this up? Like,
That's a good question. Some
the
things that we
baby's
want to
head?
be sure we look out for is we don't ever want chin touching chest. That's easier to tell when this is not covering. We also want to always be sure that their face is never pressed firmly against body. Like, we want to be sure that they can get good airflow. So it's not recommended. If you're seated and you can fully see them, you know, that's your disclosure, but we wouldn't usually recommend that.
so best to use that little neck wrap, neck
For
neck
support.
roll behind the head
Exactly.
instead of pulling this
Pulling
up.
this over. Exactly. Because one common misconception is while this looks like a hammock, it is not a hammock. Baby needs to be vertical in this carrier all the time. They would never be horizontal in this way.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. That's a ring sling.
Yeah.
And so taking them out.
Feeding baby here.
Yep.
That's great.
So you'll just kind of lift her body and kind of put her right back on the shoulder, kind of where you had her. That way it's easier to just, and then you'll lift this ring straight away. There you go.
See that happening
Mhm.
here?
Yep. It's funny. It reminds me of like an 80s belt.
Oh, and I can just pull it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then this hand in over the top, under armpit, holding baby's trunk. That's the easiest way to get them out and back up to the shoulder. Perfect. And then, like, realistically, because you're probably doing this in a parking lot, I just throw it over my shoulders and shimmy it down. Because that's that's the real life mom, right?
That's
like
right.
that's the
Excellent.
real
I
life
wanted to get
parent,
on the
really.
floor. Here we go.
Perfect.
That was really, really comfortable. I have to say I've had 2 babies and tried many kinds of slings. They're not all comfortable. So I am trusting, and I know for sure because Whitney's done it too, that she has figured out which ones are comfortable.
Yeah, this one's great too. It's cotton. There are some ring slings that have some more bougie fabrics. I'll hold her for you for a moment. We're gonna put this on. But this is like easy to care for, simple to wash. They're very accessible. They're reasonable prices. And they typically go up to about 4 years old. They hold around 35 pounds. So you can then just transition towards carrying them on the hip, which is what you do anyway. Okay, this one automatically intimidating because it's like a whole plethora of fabric. This can feel like a lot. These are similar in concept to a Moby. If you've seen that style, they're called a wrap. This one in particular is stretchy, so it can be called a stretchy wrap. The brand on this one is Boba, just for concept, so you can understand the differences as you're comparing them. It does have a tag here that tells you it's the center. So you don't have to like fold it in half and make sure, because the center is important.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is place this just beneath your breasts here, and you're going to cross it in the back. Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of fabric here,
There
so
is.
I'm tripping over it a little bit, but I
Yep.
could probably have done that more gracefully if I planned
And
it.
as you do that, just tuck an elbow in so that this goes over the top.
Oh,
So it's kind of a,
so I'm bringing
yeah, there
these
you go.
over. Okay.
Perfect. Now the good news about the stretchy ones like this is you put the whole carrier on all the way before we put baby in. When they're not stretchy, this would be the point that you would begin putting baby in, which can be a little intimidating because, as you can see, it's really not fully secure.
That's right.
So that's one of the reasons we go for this. So I'm going to pull this away from you here. Oh, sorry, not your shirt. This piece here. And you're just going to wad those up and tuck them down the center. There we go. And making sure that we keep it good and snug the whole way. And then you're going to cross them again in the front, so down below.
Cross them
Wrap
here.
them to the back. There you go. And now you could tie them at this point if you want. I bring them one more time because there's so much fabric. And I tend to tie them to the side. The ticket for tying them on the sides, if you tie them in the middle, when you walk, they get caught between your legs, which is also obnoxious.
Double knot.
Yeah, keep them nice and snug, a good snug knot here.
Okay.
Okay. So we have 3 passes that we're going to be working with. You have 1, 2, and 3. You're going to start with the one closest to your body. That's that one here. So we'll put baby on your shoulder, just like we did a second ago.
Closest to my body.
Because it wrapped. So just like you did a moment ago, we're going to start her in a shoulder, basically a high burp, right? Is essentially the like newborn position. Get her up really good and high. We're going to pull that one over, keeping her on your shoulder, pull that over all the way. We want to go hip across shoulder on both. Okay. Perfect. So
Way
this
up
one,
here
pull
is if
from
I'm
this
burping
point
her.
all the way
This
across. Just stretch it all the way over. Now move her down into center because we know she's fully in. Perfect. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Yep. Like this groovy. And then pull up the middle piece. All the way to baby's neck. Exactly. Now what's great about this, what's great about this is essentially because you have a shirt on. You know, this can all be like completely stretched around to be a full shirt. So I love recommending like just a nursing bra is really all you need, especially in Texas heat, or a nursing tank top if you want something a little bit longer, but this is essentially a garment. So obviously in this place, we want to be sure that baby's able to breathe. So we have a couple of ways we can do that. First, we can tuck this up in that way. So we're just flipping it. Does that make sense?
Oh.
So that we have a little bit more open area here.
So baby can breathe.
Yep.
Okay.
You want to always be sure that their head is turned, but then they do that on their own. They tend to kind of find a way to lay their cheek directly across your chest there.
Okay.
And then you can continue to do that. So this right here is what we're making skinnier. So you can continue to flip it. Sorry, I know I'm in your personal space.
No.
But you can continue to flip it to make it easier for them.
Okay.
Does that make sense? We're
So
just twisting.
keep twisting this
As
until-
necessary. Exactly.
I mean, it could even just turn into a little strap almost
Mhm.
instead of the big white thing.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. So that we're sure that we have plenty of breathing space for baby. And this is like just an added piece. If it's in the way, same idea. Just going to tuck it to the side. Now with all baby wearing, we always want to be sure chin is off the chest always. And so the easiest way to do that too is you can just reach in over the top, 2 fingers under their chin, just to lift their chin off. Yep. Make sure they're in the right place. What's great too, with all baby wearing, you want to be visible and kissable. So if you can look straight forward, you can still see their head in your peripheral, or it's easy for you without having to lift them to kiss them. You can just bend down, just a quick kiss on the head. Okay. That's how we know that they're not too low. They're too low, then we start to, they're in suffocation zone. So we want to be sure that they're up nice and high.
Okay. Above the cleavage.
Yeah, exactly. Which is like the buffet for them. So we kind of want them up here anyway.
Yeah, so it feels really secure. We have this piece and then this piece and then this piece that are all holding the baby in. So it feels more secure than maybe it looks. And it's really comfortable.
No, I love the stretchy one because notice if you give your knees a little bit of bounce, see how they get just this perfect like down. And we all know that 2 a.m., like just a pat on the butt with the less knee movement we can do, the more I think our 50-year-old selves will thank us.
Okay, well, this is good. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Thank you. Now, how do we get out of this?
Yeah,
Or
so-
anything else to know?
No, I think you can just lift in over the top and take her back up to shoulder. There you go. Because she's really in a pouch already. Always you want to put baby down first and then take the carrier off in this case because it's so complicated. But we know many families who are like, I don't really want to do this in a parking lot. Put it on before you leave the house.
Yeah.
Then you have it all set, especially if it's your garment for the day.
Okay, so I could set the baby down and then I could untie myself.
That's right. And then, of course, it has a little bag.
And it doesn't feel hot.
It's not nearly as much fabric as some other versions or brands.
Okay.
I
did use one of these for a little while, similar one, different brand. And I loved it for some things, but it definitely took a while to learn how to do it.
Yeah, the learning
And it
curve on
was a
this
little
one's bit.
intimidating.
It is nice though. This is something you can do while you're pregnant, and you can literally practice with a sack of flour.
Yeah.
So that's nice. For these, you like the ring slings, you really need to practice it like with a baby. It's hard to really do much else until they were here. Okay, this would be considered more of a structured carrier. So plus sides to these is it's the only carrier you could really ever need. Where the Bobo wrap that we just looked at, or the stretchy wraps, or this type of wrap, are typically like a 6 to 9 month use maximum. Although they say 30 pounds, we know that's nearly a 3-year-old. So that's not fully like accurate in that sense. I would say once they're mobile and could stretch that away themselves, it's no longer safe. So this is really intended for newborn and infant phase, the wrap that we just looked at.
Both of those wraps, really?
No, the ring
newborn
sling,
infant?
like you can really stretch that to nearly 4 years because it's
Okay.
not stretchy in that way. It's a structured fabric, but it's very structured. So it's safe for that long of time.
Okay.
This,
So the ring sling could go all the way into you
nearly 4
having a
years old.
toddler.
Yeah.
The wrap
Wrap.
with the long piece of fabric,
Mhm.
really just for
6 to 9 months,
newborn,
give or take.
maybe up to 9 months.
Yep.
And then they're too big for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. This one is another like 3 to 4 years. It's just a whole lot of carrier. I will say this tends to be fewer, like all family members tend to be unintimidated by this because it feels like a big piece of equipment that will help hold baby.
It looks like a backpack.
It does, that's right. Okay, so I'm gonna have you put this on your waist. So, at the top of your hip where you would carry a child or carry a sack of groceries, that's really where we want it to land.
So this is the inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna put this belt on my hips.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, so this one has a really big Velcro panel here.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was
So
expecting
you're
a
gonna, I know,
clip.
right? So you're
No,
gonna
it's Velcro.
wrap this all the way to the side, which is great because it makes it double up on itself, which can feel kind of like a weightlifting belt. It's like got some good, it's gonna hold some weight.
Okay.
Obviously for a newborn, we're not concerned about their weight nearly as much.
Mhm.
So what's also wonderful about this one, and similar to the wrap that we had a moment ago, is you're gonna put the whole thing on before we even put baby in. So that's good news. So arms are going through these two holes here.
Okay, that's easy.
Good deal. And then there is a clip at the back. I'm going to make sure it's in the right spot for you, and then I'll let you do the clipping. So if you're able to reach over your head and try this way, another way is sometimes having it near bra area where you can reach under.
Okay.
But I can do this for you, or if you want to give it a try, and let's see how easy that is for you. There you go. Yeah. You got it. There we go. Perfect. Okay.
So we get it all clipped on first.
That's right.
Okay.
Now this one happens to have these kind of nifty magnetic buckles. So we just are pinching this and pulling to the side. You can do the same thing over here.
Pinch. Okay.
Pull. And then actually same thing here. So these go this way. So you'll want to do the same thing there.
Side one, two. See that? It's just a little button.
And it's magnetic. And so now we're ready to put baby in. Now this part here is zipped up because that's what makes it a newborn part. This will unzip for later so their butt goes lower because they're longer then. That means that their head is always at about this level. So when they're tiny, they're here. And as they get bigger, their butt goes down. But the head stays up, visible and kissable, just like we mentioned earlier.
So this little flap here is extra. And you put that in when you have a newborn and you take it out. And then their butt sits all the way down here when they get bigger. For the newborn, we have it up at this level. Okay.
So we're going to scrunch her like we were just doing a moment ago to imagine a newborn in froggy position. And for you, right, if we're picking up our new baby, we're going to hold her here. And then we're going to tuck their legs up underneath, and they're going to push them right into that froggy position. So like so, move her down to center. Okay.
So get my newborn, tuck her little legs up like this.
And you'll just kind of bring her bottom to about the perfect. And then leaning back, holding her against you so you can scoop this underneath. There we go, and pull it all the way up. And whichever one feels like will be the securest for you to attach first. And since they're magnetic, they just like attach themselves.
Yeah, because that was
one there, one up on this point. And then we'll do some tightening here in a second too. And then you have one on each side here that goes right beneath their arms to these little points here. So it's on this side there. Yeah, so you may have to lift her up towards it. There we go.
Okay, I can see it, which is good because
there we go.
it's hard to feel for it.
Yeah, and sometimes easier if we can encourage their arm upward because then it's free from the space. Perfect. So she's up, and I can see it's these that are needing to be tightened. So I'm just gonna tug them that way. There, and now she's in and secure. Now for a newborn, this would come up. So this is a neck support, and it would buckle to the next one up, right? Because they are unable to hold their head up. And so this allows that same support without you having to do that with your hand.
Okay. Now I could just keep it like this.
You
right?
can, exactly.
Keep it now that I've adjusted it one time. Next time I put her in, I don't have to do
already
all
set.
that.
It's just click, 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 click.
Okay. Very nice. Okay, so here she is.
Yeah,
She
you
looks
can see her
pretty
leaning
happy.
down. She's not moving at all.
Yeah, I can do, this is really nice.
Now this one's pretty great too because there's ways to accommodate a hip carry or carrying them on the back once they're fully sitting up on their own, which is typically around 6 months.
Okay, so once the baby's a little bigger and they can wrap their legs around me, hold their head up, I could use this to hold my baby on one side or the other, or flip them all the way around to the back.
That's right.
And that's nice when they get to that age where they don't want to be facing into you. They want to look around. When they're on your back, they can actually see a little more. They can see around you and on the sides instead of just your chest. So this sounds pretty universal.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we found this type of carrier, particularly for back wearing, especially useful when we were at events or situations where a baby wants to walk in, they're even 14 months old. That idea of like, my baby can walk. Yes, they can. They will walk all the way through the zoo. But when we're leaving, they're tired. So it's a great way to like, we're still good and we're going to get out and nobody's melting down. Or I'm having to then do this like carry thing as we're exiting. And it's, putting all of this.
That's true. And I have to say that for me, my daughter hated strollers. So this is how she went everywhere. If I didn't need her to be walking around, maybe it's really crowded and I'm having to keep track of her instead of using a leash or something. Although I have no problem with that either because she liked that better than being stuck in a stroller. But in this, she would usually be pretty happy in something like this. Or my son loved strollers. I didn't even think to pull it out, but then I tried it one day. I was like, oh, wait, not all babies hate these things. So he loved it. So, they're very different. If you have a baby who hates a stroller, this is a great way to not have to be holding them while you're out and doing things. So for me, this one it's comfortable. It's definitely comfortable. I feel like I could wear it for a long time. But honestly, those other two were even more comfortable.
They're a lot less fabric. So
They're less
mainly the
fabric.
weight you're carrying is the baby weight, where this, the carrier itself has its own weight and like impact on you, which as they get larger and you're carrying them for longer periods of time, that can be useful. When they're tiny, it's a little bit difficult because it feels like an expect for a baby. One more thing I wanted to mention too, because we were talking about the ways that it was beneficial to our life. I found this to be a really great way for my partner to feel included, because as a nursing mother, there was often, he was like, what can I do? I'll get you some water, it's great. But just for him to have that time with baby, it was so nice for him to be like, this is something I can do. I can put baby on and I can walk them around because mom has already done the part that she could. Now this is something I can do. So it definitely helped him to feel included too.
And mine too. My husband wore our baby in something like this for a really long time. So if it was his turn to do bedtime or something, he would put the baby in one of these and put on a little Bob Marley and start bouncing around, and it worked every time. And then he would, unclip these things very carefully, put the baby on the bed, and then slide it out from under them and then up, and he's still wearing the thing, but the baby's out, and it worked great for us. And you can't do that as well with a ring sling maybe, or the wrap. So I had both, honestly. I had all three.
I know. Try all of the things.
And maybe even some other ones. But it just depended on the day and the circumstances, which one was more comfortable or more appropriate. So if you can fit it in your budget to have them all, that's awesome.
Well, and there are some lending libraries here in Austin where you can borrow them from, like Baby Wearing International is a group that lends them out so that you can try them and see if you like them. You can borrow them for a month at a time, which in some cases, the newborn phase, you just need to get through that for that particular time. And then you may choose something else for the second month or third month. Yeah.
Okay, but I can't say enough about how important it was for me to be able to wear my baby like this. I did not like, and if you took my birth class, you probably heard me say more than once that I was not good at resting. I wish I had been, and if I could go back, I would do it better, and I think you should all do that. But I definitely have a hard time sitting still for very long, and so to lay down and hold my baby for really extended periods of time, or sit in a chair and rock my baby, was really hard. But when I could just get up and do the things I need to do, and I'm still holding my baby, they love falling asleep in these too. So it was really nice for me to not sit and rock or sit and nurse to get a baby to take a nap. I could still be up moving. They're napping. And if you're having your second, third, or you have young kids, you have toddlers running around. Definitely with my second, he probably lived in this even more than my first, because I needed hands for a 2-year-old. So if you haven't thought about doing something like this, please do. This to me, if I was to say, what should I get on my registry is number in the top 3, I would say this would be in the top 3 for sure.
I could agree with that.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah. So I think that's everything. Anything else you think that we need to know about?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. Thanks
Thank you so much.
including us.
And often Whitney is here in the store. And of course, people who work with Whitney.
Oh, we're all
to help you
baby wearers.
do this. You can come in, you can use this weighted doll to try the things out, see what feels good for you. So definitely give it a thought or two.